This next movie is a movie that I think everyone can enjoy. But if you happen to be a terminal cinephile, it helps. It's the kind of movie that, like, people who don't like art films probably look at this and go, this is typical art film bullshit. But the fact is, it is a fake art film. In the 60s and 70s, a lot of cinemas that had been art film cinemas started kind of shading into sex films a lot because of the Bardot films and a lot of the Euro sex kitten films were coming out and playing in art houses. They couldn't play them anyplace else, and so the art house crowd kind of became a raincoat crowd, and it all kind of like merged in together. Well, in Europe, they kind of noted this phenomenon and said, hey, let's give them a fake art film with a lot of sex in it. And so they made a sex film with a lot of sort of artsy trappings. And that's really what you see here in The Frightened Woman. By the way, the title The Frightened Woman was given to it by Radley Metzger of Audubon Productions when he imported it. It's actually, the title was, the direct translation of the film is The Laughing Woman. So that shows you a little bit about, I think, American sexual morality. That the laughing woman becomes the frightened woman. They didn't change anything with the film, they just changed the title. So this movie is a scream. It is a hilarious comedy. It's the comedy of the millennium. It's a movie that appears somewhat dated in its sexual relationships and its relationships between men and women. And in fact, it is really dated. And you might say we've come a long way since then. In certain ways we have. But I don't want to watch these movies and say, oh, well, in gender relations we have come a long way, I'll say that much, all right? So let me get that out of the way. So don't, like, crucify me. But I think if we look at these movies and say, oh, well, we've progressed so much since these movies were made, that we're kind of missing the point a little bit. Because have we really progressed a whole lot since, like, 1968? Like, look where we are now. This is progression? I don't know. I don't know that we've progressed so much. But in that sense, we probably have. But don't look at these films in this sort of, like, kind of holier than thou sort of way, like think we've learned so much since then, because we've forgotten a whole lot since then. The movie stars Philippe Leroy, who you might recognize from a lot of other European films. He was in some good European crime films as well. He has a very sort of severe sort of Leonine profile. I think he's really good, really severe sort of actor. He's great at playing a sadist. And then Dagmar Lysander, who was, again, one of the many hundreds, well, probably dozens of Euro sex kittens, particularly of the 70s. Of the 60s, you had your Gino Lollobrigida and your whoever, of course, Bardot and all the ones whose names escape me right now. In the 70s, there was a whole new crop of European sex kittens who were always willing to take their clothes off, and took their clothes off in every film. And that was your Rosal Baneri, and your Barbara Boucher, and all those Edwige Finish, and all your great Euro sex kittens. So she was among those, and I never liked her very much until this movie. And now I'm just crazy about that Dagmar Lysander. There's one scene in this movie in particular that really sums up for me the Euro ambient, a word I coined, I think, the Euro ambient quality of this film. I love European movies, European genre films of all types. And this European movie has one scene that is, if I had to explain to people what Euro ambient means, it's the scene where Dagmar Lysander like dances around in a kind of clumsy, sort of horsey way around this beautiful apartment and drinks J&B Scotch, wearing a gauzy outfit with like a great European hairstyle. It's like that sums up what I love about European genre film, particularly about European sex film. J&B Scotch, by the way, if anyone does love European genre film, is the #1 product placement of all time. So in every European genre film, you will see at least one bottle of J&B Scotch. Even the film we just saw, you saw kind of floating by. I've seen movies that take place in outer space where there's a bottle of J&B Scotch. So go out and buy a bottle of J&B Scotch after this is over. I don't know, can you buy a bottle of J&B? You probably can. Tomorrow morning, like 8 in the morning, buy a bottle of J&B Scotch. Enjoy it. Sit at home, just drink it, like listen to Piero Umiliani or Piero Piccioni soundtracks and have a ball. All right, so this is going to be the last movie of the night. Tomorrow, through a kind of an odd sort of scheduling thing that happened when I first programmed this series, I programmed in one movie at 9:45 since Ned had in his initial program 2 movies in the earlier slots that ended up falling through and not happening. So we end up with 3 shows tomorrow of a great movie called Darker Than Amber. I don't know if it can handle 3 shows. I would love to see everybody come out for at least one of the shows of it. I don't think we're going to have a packed house for all 3 shows. So, but please do come and enjoy Darker Than Amber. It's my favorite man pulp movie. And man pulp, as distinct, man pulp is kind of like the 60s noir, 60s film noir, but it's film noir kind of like with a glossy 60s color, shiny surface. And it kind of reminds you of the time when you could be a white male and be cool, which is, for all us white males, is long in the past. So come out tomorrow for Darker Than Amber and enjoy The Frightened Woman. Thank you very much.